me away, and don't allow the day here inside where I hide with my loneliness. I don't care what they say, I won't stay in a world without love.
I always had a fancy to document things in audio. So when a hurricane was bearing down on us in West Palm Beach, I was there, trusty mic in hand, doing the blow-by-blow, as it were. Maybe we could use some of it for radio. It was early morning, and the hurricane was tracking right for us. It was just a couple of hours away. And as I remember now, I spent the eye of that hurricane in a telephone booth praying to be rescued by the Highway Patrol. And needless to say, it became very interesting.
There's a gust of about 75. And I don't think that TV antenna is for much longer. And the wind is blowing the rain so hard that it almost looked like it's snowing. This tremendous gust of wind. From what I can see, though, on looking around, there has been no damage to speak of, except for my dipole antenna, which didn't quite make the scene, but that's neither here nor yonder. This wind is coming across in tremendous gusts, and it's wet, very, very wet and cold, too. We're going to suspend this this recording session since 7:30. We've been recording. The recording before that was taken at 6:30. We're going to suspend this. There was another, before I could get away, there was a tremendous burst of wind, and what it looks like, there's a limb broken down off a tree out here in the front of the house, and as I look at it, my long line antenna is bent in a U form. And if it snaps up by the tree, it's going to throw that another tremendous burst of wind. Well, I never was able to make that final test because shortly after that time, the power went off. And that sort of KO'd the recorder and amplifier power also. The damage in the metropolitan Palm Beaches was pretty extensive, but the greatest damage was to trailers. I left, after the power went off at the house, I left the house. I started towards the station, but I never made it. I ran out of gas. And I went through Hurricane Cleo in a telephone booth, and I went through the eye of the hurricane in the telephone booth. The other side of the eye started coming back, and a highway patrol car came up, which my wife had phoned, and oddly enough, it was Sergeant Tom, who was a very likable man, public relations man for the Florida Highway Patrol, and we spent about 2 hours together riding around the metropolitan Palm Beaches. He was checking on how his men's homes came through Hurricane Cleo and reporting to his dispatcher, and his dispatcher relayed the messages to his men who are on patrol. The trailers, many trailers over on Canal Road were damaged quite badly. Some were overturned. Some of the trailers just looked like they had exploded. There was just a bunch of rubble where the trailer once stood. Plate glass windows in gas stations and in town were just busted in. 2 of them in Belks. The Sears store had boarded up the bottom part of their store, but it left the top windows unboarded, and all of those were busted out. WJNO at that time switched over to their emergency auxiliary power supply, and we were on the only station on the air from 8:30 a.m. until the power was restored at about 10 minutes past the hour of 3 p.m. the following, well, actually that day, the power was restored to WJNO, and then later it was restored to the other stations around town. As I say, the damage was pretty bad here in the metropolitan Palm Beaches. Riding around with Sergeant Tom, we saw many trees across power lines, across the roads, and if at all possible, I'm going to try to have what I had recorded on my way to work. I'm going to try to dub that onto this tape at this time too, so if you'll stand by.
The eye of the hurricane is presently passing over, and we are going down Dillon Road out west of town. We've not seen any damage thus far, mainly limbs in the front of the houses, some fallen trees, no down power lines as of this time. There are some poles that are most definitely wavering. You can see them wavering from the road, although so is the car. But I believe it's the telephone poles. It looks that way anyway. The winds, as I say, the eye is approaching, and we're making our guess from the way it was in Miami. There was a 45-minute delay in the eye of the hurricane in Miami. There's one fallen tree by the side of the road. We just passed it. There seems to be up ahead, there's a whole fallen tree across the road on Dillon Road, which makes it impassable. We'll have to turn around and try another way out. Dillon Road, west of Military Trail, is impassable. There's a fallen tree between Military Trail. On Dillon Road, there's a fallen tree between Military Trail and Jog Road, which makes this street impassable. There's a down telephone pole between the bridge on Dillon Road and Jog Road, and that's the reason the power is out in that vicinity. There's a fallen tree between Jog Road and Canal Road. The road is not impassable, but you should use caution in traveling on this road. On Canal Road, there are many down trees beside the road. As of this time, I've seen none laying across the road, making the road impassable. There's a fallen tree across the bridge on Canal Road. Canal Road west of Military Trail, right across the bridge at the locks, which makes this road impassable. The only bad thing about this is that our news cruiser is sort of low on gas. If we don't get to a point where we can get gas, we're going to be stuck in this thing. There are falling trees at the intersection of Forest Hill Boulevard and Jog Road on either side of the intersection on Jog Road, which makes Jog Road impossible for traveling purposes. It's right at the intersection of Forest Hill Boulevard and Jog Road. On either side of Jog Road, there are 2 fallen trees. The only way out for the people living west of Military Trail between Canal Road and Dillon Road is the old Cleary Brothers Road across the old Cleary Brothers Bridge onto Southern Boulevard. Between Boulevard and 4 Points, pole that's swinging back and forth across the road, dangling off the road, and the only thing that's holding it up off the road is the power lines across it.
And that's the way it looked, August the 27th, 1964. We spent the eye of the hurricane and half of the other side in a telephone booth off Southern Boulevard at the Ace Hardware store. And halfway through the other side of the hurricane, Sergeant Tom of the Highway Patrol came by, which my wife had phoned, and we spent 2 hours together riding around the outlying areas of the metropolitan Palm Beaches, surveying the damage, which was quite extensive, mainly to trailers, as I had mentioned before, and blown windows from gasoline stations, and other establishments around the town. And that was Hurricane Cleo, August the 27th, 1964.